Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Pros of Profit. Obviously, I'm never alone. Me and LP and I'm with Nandu. How you doing?
I'm clean, Tagunjan.
I'm great.
British.
So today, guys, we are gonna talk about how to be employable, especially in South Africa, with such an incredibly high unemployment rate. I think we're at 74. The last time I checked, when it comes to specifically youth unemployment, because I know the vast majority of us that our audience are pretty young. So yeah, we just want to talk about how to be employable, how to position yourself perhaps best, because we're both unemployed, by the way.
Sure.
Oh, but like what we are doing also as well to make sure that we put ourselves in employable positions, in positions that look, when a company looks at you, when a company looks at your resume and what you have and goes, okay, cool, you might want to take the guy. So we just want to go through some of those things because you know how it affects a lot of people. You know, we are pretty young and deal with a lot of mental issues and with regards to mental health. And these are some of the things that we, with our little knowledge, know, and hopefully we could help you know that information as well. So
Sure.
I think what's the best thing to be employable? And the first thing that comes to my mind personally is, with the books that I read and the information that I consume, is decision making on who you want to be. With your average being 80 years, who do you want to be when you die? What's the decision that you have to make? It's okay, you know, at the end of my life, who do I want to be? And that's very important because I think it tailors your information consumption, it tailors your friendship groups, it tailors where you're involved. You don't do a lot of things. Let's say perhaps you want to be a DJ, right? What are you doing in a place where you don't belong, right? So like, decision making tailors the company interviews you go to. It tailors a lot of things for you because now you're clear. You don't go where everybody says let's go. So when someone says, hey man, I saw to try highest, I always now, because you know that the DJing career or the photography career that you have in mind is going to be jeopardized by you spending countless hours in doing something that's not going to be profitable for you. If I want to be a DJ, how does this at some point help me to build my career? So decision making for me is very important because decision making also helps you choose the type of skills you want to add on this career path that you're onto. So if, let's say, I want to be a photographer, will I then study software engineering? I don't think so. If I want to be a software engineer, will I then study being a healthcare practitioner? No, I don't do that. So decision making on who you want to be for me has to be the most important one. And as a subtopic to that, which is kind of gonna contradict my first point on who you want to be, is humility. To take whatever job presents itself. It's very important, and I know that, you know, we're very ambitious people who want to do great things at some point one day, but I think humility is also a very important factor to take in, because very phase to your software engineering degree might not get you where you want to be at the moment, but if an opportunity comes for you to be a waiter, why not? You know, if an opportunity for you to do content like how we're doing and a few people are watching, why not take that opportunity? And humility goes a long way because nothing goes to waste. No work goes to waste, meaning that all work works. If it doesn't work for you, it works on you. And so whether you in school, being in school teaches you how to work incredibly hard, long hours, studying this thing, and now you got your degree, you're not employed. It's true, but what that 3-year or 4-year degree or 5 got you was the ability to work long hours, was the ability to take information and be able to understand information and then write a test, and that test you pass. And that knowledge and that skill might not have landed you a job, but that skill might help you when you build your own company. That skill might help you when it's time for you to do your content creation. What type of student were you? Were you the type of student who was very tactical and very technical in how you studied for hours? You say, okay, I just want to study an hour. I'm going to rest 10 minutes. I'm going to now repeat this paper 100 times. That also helps you become a tactical, you know what I'm saying, business owner. That helps you become a tactical, you know, content creator. So no work goes to waste. And the beauty of humility is knowing that, you know what, I'm going to be humble to this.
Yeah.
If I'm serving at a church, I'm going to give this church my best, because I know that the church might not give me a certificate. Others do. Many churches do, by the way, but it's true. Some don't. But that work that you do in that church and the service you give wherever you are, in that restaurant that you might hate, in that garage that you might be working in, it's going to haunt you. It's going to haunt you. I was watching this other story, this testimony about this guy who was working at this place and he didn't like it. He turned up late all the time. So 3 years into this job, he gets a better job at the government. They're taking care of everything. You know, like if you work in South Africa, the best jobs are secure jobs, and in those jobs you find working for the South African government. So he gets the job opportunity to work for the government, and he qualifies. What trapped him was the fact that while he was at this 3-year job, he didn't do things the right way. And for him to get placement there, he needed to get a letter from the previous boss. And that previous boss was like, he's not a good guy. He always comes late. He always backchats. He never does things on time. And what happened? He ended up not getting the job. And it's very important then to be humble, to know what's as in best. I'm overqualified for this, but I'll do the best that I can because I don't know what's in the future. And that's the humility point that's important. So make the decision of who you want to be, and also in the same breath, be humble to the process, because whether we like it or not, everybody goes through a process. And if you study the people that are successful, they went through a lot of things. I'm doing research on the biggest podcast in Africa is by a guy called Magwev. The guy was a meter taxi driver at the age of 19. Today he has the biggest podcasting network. But he started off as a guy who was a taxi driver. So we need to be humble to the process, as is everybody, by the way. So make the decision on who you want to be. Be humble to learn the skill, and know that nothing goes to waste. And I think those are the first few points that are important to those of us that are not employed.
Yeah. Just before I even get into my view on what you're talking about, né?
Sure.
I feel like we are in a very entrepreneurial season, or the climate is very entrepreneurial. I don't know whether it's because I'm around people that are entrepreneurs, or I'm around people that are now starting to think about owning businesses.
Sure.
Né? I don't know whether that's the fact, but I'm just seeing a lot of people talk about businesses, about entrepreneurship. And that's great for us, because we are people that advocate for that. Sure. We are people that are here for people that want to own businesses, that want to venture into entrepreneurship. As much as we are big advocates of that, this episode is one of the things that we're kind of highlighting. There's nothing wrong about having a job.
Sure.
Sure. There's nothing wrong about having a job, because your job could be your biggest investor. The money that you can get from your job, to get to the levels that you want to get to. Sure. Like, going back to your point, you can, the fact that guy
Taxi driver. The guy who was bad employee.
Yeah. That contribute. I want to know that if you respect the job, you can elevate.
Sure.
I want to sure. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting a job, even if it's a spa, even if whatever other like
small.
Yeah, I want to sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to start with that. And also in terms of being employable, né? Especially as young people, I'm in a mindset where I'm like, okay, how do we double down and use what we have and use where we are? So in terms of skills, because one of the reasons people are employed is because they have a particular skill. There are skill sets that if you have, many people are willing to pay, or even businesses are willing to pay you, to employ you for them. For instance, video editing, shooting content. Njengamanje, that is one of the most in demand skill sets. Sure. So if you have the skill sets, you literally how do we use the skill and we leverage the skill for a span?
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? Sure. So you can edit for other people. You can shoot content for other people. If you are a graphic designer, many people are willing to pay for that service or that skill set. Many businesses are willing to pay for that skill set. There's a guy that I personally know who was just into fitness, right? And he was unemployed for months until he started thinking about the fact of why don't I just become a personal trainer? We are once already valid. It's within his comfort zone, fitness. But now he has a job. He works with Planet Fitness through just that. I think that's also one of the things that we need to concentrate on, because we have skills. How do we double down and make sure don't sit down with something for you to actually be employed. There are people that are willing to pay for the skills that you have.
Sure.
There are people that are willing to pay for umqondo wakho. One thing sure. So even if especially if you shoot content for a living, when you can also do this like freelance work. Because when that's a job, that's work for you. You can do freelance work. Again, graphic designer, shooting content. What is on lezo? You can go to our websites afana njengo Upwork, njengo freelancer, njengo Fiverr, because business people are typing every day. They're looking for people that are willing to do freelance work. Sure. That I think for me, that's one of his in the food. Going back to what you said, it's okay. Decide on what you want to be. Clean. Decide. But also once usemkhakheni, be aware of the fact what skill you have and how do you leverage the skill.
Sure. And another thing, I was doing my research about this topic was, the top 10 most employable jobs. I have a list here. At number 10, it's a pilot. Number 9, hospital administrator, business consultant, lawyer, agricultural engineer, accountant at number 5, health and safety manager, data scientist at number 3, network administrator at number 2, and then at number 1, the software engineer. And if you feel like the degree that you did is probably useless or phased out in university, because that happens, these are skills and courses you can look for online and do them for free. And it's obviously best to go for the ones that have a certificate at the end of the short course that you're doing. But there's absolute possibility for you to learn online and do the thing. Because what I've noticed with employers is this: the people that stand out for real is 2 people for the vast majority of the time. It's whether a guy that has experience or the guy that has incredibly good grades. And the people in the middle find themselves unemployed. Sometimes even doctors. That's what we're having in our country. So they go for the guy with the most experience, or they go for the guy with the best grades, and the people in the middle, sort of just have a hard time squeezing into the circles. And if you feel like the degree that I did, just want to completely walk away from the top 10 jobs, and even we can even go to top 20 in your research and find what course can I do online and just really add to myself. Because part of the decision making, which is very important, fundamental for us who are unemployed, is life can give you valid reasons to give up on your dreams, and the people around you, we will understand why you're going to give up. It's going to be understandable with the way things are looking. But it's important to make the decision, because the decision that you make of who you want to be will always be there for you. And no matter how life kind of forces humility on you to be humble and settle for whatever you didn't want to settle on in your decision, the decision making will just keep you going. The decision making will keep you wanting to reach that point, whatever that point is. And that's why it's important. Also, if you feel like, okay, Piwe, and I don't want to go work in the mines, doing the research on which people are the most employable is very important. Having a software engineering, short course in the bag is going to put you in a good position to do that. And what you spoke about was, on my CV, obviously, there's a lot of websites that help you. For me, I think what we need to be, as young people, open to is using artificial intelligence to help us go through a lot of things. And the problem with the new things that come is they're doubted at first, but then with time, they're proven to be true. It was the thing with electrical cars, whether you like it or not, they're here to stay. And a lot of people obviously are still very much opposed to it. When credit cards came, Christians believed it was the mark of the beast, and it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? You use this thing to buy The Bible literally says you're going to be using it to buy, and it's the mark of the beast. But with time, we're using credit cards and debit cards today almost every day. Now it's even in our phones. So is this thing with cryptocurrency. A lot of people say blah blah blah. You can keep quiet your beat. It's fine. It's here to stay. Same thing happened when the internet came. A lot of people didn't believe in it, but it was here to stay. And I think with what we're seeing right now with artificial intelligence, it can help us as African countries, number one, to catch up pretty quickly from European countries. We're always 25 years to 50 years behind everyone else. And I think artificial intelligence can help us like swiftly catch up. And it's something that's moving incredibly quickly. And one thing that could help us in context to this topic, which is unemployment, is we could use artificial intelligence to help us be more employable. Of course, you can start a startup around it, but I think with how history has made things, it's only a few companies that succeed. It's only Google and Yahoo that are the face of it. Keep in mind, there's plenty others that were there. But it's not necessarily building a Google, which you can. It's not necessarily about building another Google for artificial intelligence. It's about the guy who knows best how to utilize its prompts, how to utilize its tools, right? So learning how to utilize AI can help you also implement that into your CV so that you can be more employable. I'll just give an example that I have, and I'm going to give you guys a document on how to actually use that and put it in your CV. Let's say the first prompt is saying how to craft a cover letter. You can tell it, hey, can you please write a personalized cover letter for this job title? Let's say they want a photographer for, let's say, super sport. That catches the hiring manager's attention and makes me the top candidate for this position. So you can do that, and AI can help you develop that. So you can add whatever experience you have. You can add whatever thing that you feel like is going to put you in the frontier of the people that are employed, and artificial intelligence can help you with that. I was crafting a letter for one of the people that bought from us. I have a clothing brand, a Christian clothing brand. And I felt like it needs a little bit more emotion to it. So I told artificial intelligence, like ChatGPT, can you please infuse some emotion to it? It was so beautiful. So we can use these to be employable. Another thing we can do is ask it to say, please rewrite the bullet points for my resume below using clear and impactful language while highlighting my key achievements and accomplishments. Because really, I don't think companies do want work experience, but what's important is the results. Like, how did the company improve because you were on board? That's what they want. And ChatGPT, with its absolute infinite wisdom, can help you word it best, can help you bullet point it best, so that your CV can be separated from everybody else's. And I think that's one thing we should also utilize young people to say, don't leave as artificial intelligence. So do it so that when everybody else catches up, you'll be teaching them for money. And that's where we can come in. And that's how also it can help you become more employable.
I want to go back to the point of imsebens that are employing people. Yeah,
Sure.
I think it's very important to pick what you study, especially March. Attune what your studies to what is relevant right now and what will be relevant for the future. So 10 to 15, maybe even 20 years from now. Attune your studies to that, right? Study or information technology, study web design, study software engineering, study software development, study or coding or program. Study these things. Once you position yourself properly, abantu bathi catch up, you far gone. Study these things, align yourself with what works and what will be working for the next 10 to 20 years. And in them night, if you're still looking to go to a university, maybe you're in school, these are the things that you should be researching. These courses are available. Go UJ, go UCT, go VITS, go UP, like the normal universities that these courses are available. And if you're a person you're already done with school, you can do short courses.
Free online.
that are free online. I think one very popular is IU, International University of Applied Science. You do an entire course, maybe coding, for instance. You do an entire course online. You don't need to go to a class. You do everything online. Uba qualified online. Laptop yakho finish.
Sure.
Align yourself with what works, especially now. Digital world are in Dao. Just we should make peace with it. And in making peace with it, make up your peace and then sit down. Align yourself. Put yourself in the best position.
Sure.
Also, there's also other industries that we're not looking at, especially as young black people. Industries like farming.
Sure.
I was doing a research on farming because I saw a post and then I just did research. Farming has the most jobs, but young people are not there.
Sure.
Study or plant biochemistry. Study on land management, agriculture. Study these things. Align yourself with these things.
Sure.
Because izosebenzela wena ekugcineni kosuku.
Sure.
Yabona into engisho.
Sure.
And so for me, it's beautiful to know the industries. Kodwa futhi manje now take advantage of it. Even something as basic or in that as the beauty industry, it's not going anywhere.
Sure.
Funda mtaka managazi. How to do people's makeup or hair or whatever. It's an industry that's not going anywhere.
Sure.
So you're putting yourself in a position where if there's too many jobs, of course now it's too many to get a job. So that's my point, especially in studying. Align yourself, tune your studies.
And another thing, I was watching a Jeff Bezos interview. Jeff Bezos is the founder, the billionaire, the founder of Amazon. I think it's very important for us to be real about what's happening in our continent compared to other continents. We're very, very far behind, and Doctrina are going to take pretty much a long time for us to catch up. But the change is definitely coming, and whilst the change is coming in many industries, it's okay. A lot of things will change, but some things will not change.
Yeah.
And the reason why, when you're speaking about farming, he spoke about how customers will still want their things sooner. Customers will still want cheaper prices. And so whilst we study all these changes that are going to come in the economy and everything in a lot of industries, it's okay, what will remain the same? What will remain constant for people?
Yeah.
Community and everything. And even as young business people, to build around the things and the values that will not change, that will not be changed by the coming of artificial intelligence. And those things we should nurture in the companies we build, we should nurture in the type of content we make as well. So this episode is going to come with a document for myself on just teaching how to use these prompts to have a better CV, but also in the same breath, we're going to take and make a large list, not just top 10 of the most employable people in our country, but also in the same breath, just the free courses that are available from MIT, courses that are available from even Harvard, that are important, but also going to have you a certificate at the end of doing it, which are going to make you more employable.
Yeah.
And
and I feel like we've said more than enough about Anje, where we on the way to is like attune yourself.
Sure.
Decide, leverage your skills, use izinto ezikhona njengo ChatGPT. Ayabona leyo nto. Attune yourself, make yourself ngoba it's not as hard as we would like to make it. Ayabona leyo nto.
Sure.
It's just trying izinto. Everything we spoke about njengoba we'll put it on the description below. Tap into that, because this is not just us sitting here to entertain you guys. This is edutainment.
Sure. Take
everything. Don't only research the next hip hop album that's coming out. Use your smartphone to research smart stuff. So align yourself.
Okay. And also the humility point is important. To remain humble to the process. You're gonna get to where you're going, but it does mean that you might just turn here just a little bit to add some gas. You might just turn here, and who knows? Because also another thing that's very important is the people you meet along the way. You might be working at a job you hate. It's okay, but you never know who's watching. You never know who you might meet. And it's gonna take you there. And speaking of Mac G, who has the biggest podcast, he met Dineo Ranaka, who put him on the next radio station, and from then on his career has been moving forth. It was a taxi driver, and a passenger was like, "Hey, you good at this? Okay, cool. I want to know more about this." Next thing you know, he landed a job. So be humble to the process. Greatness is coming.
Yeah.
With that said, I think this is the end of the episode.
Oh man.
Peace.
I love it.